You have nothing. Oh, shovel. I see. Okay, you got done. Sure. It's too early for archive. Yeah, sure, we'll take the keys. So, oh. Yeah, we'll get this. Yeah, we'll take that. And we'll take that. No. It's already unlocked. Is there anything ever in here? You know what? I'll open this over here because I probably won't be coming back. Based any in here? Sure. There's a lot of keys there. Oh no. Fuck. Empty. The only true statement. The other two. Okay, so if that's true, then these will both be false. There are two false statements. False is only one, so these are both true. No, it can't be. So this is false, this is true. This is true, false. False, oh, that can't be. Whoa. This is the only true statement. True. There are two false statements. False. Oh, and this is true. Wait, that can't be. God damn it. So this has to be true. So false. 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 So it has the white. Okay. Got it. Threw me off. Ooh. Redford yelling. Curse. Regional Flatbridge is one that owns people with the railroad. Copy all this. Barry Bigger from Morris. Rogues. Boy, 13 years, Jasper. Kid. to the vocation of banditry. Surprisingly tender-hearted, and was often teased by the crew for being too kind for such a ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just justice that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of the night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Black Bridge Canyon. On such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out into the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the morning, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jesper could reach the furthest most berry patches without worrying of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. This is not what I expected this book to be. Took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination. Along the way, Jesper had passed by many familiar bush, all priorly pillaged, and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments in earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even patience has its limits. He was confident that even accounting the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in this new grove surprised even Jesper. Red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over with joy. Out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of Confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in his task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him. Shit. Fucking story. A carriage is approaching. Thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept towards the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. Only a moment before the sound source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around a corner of trees, led by 2 beautiful white horses, and conveyed a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper has ever seen. It was not just any carriage; it was a royal carriage. Even without having witnessed such a sight before, Jesper was certain the sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effort that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. You boy, get out from behind that bush, he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. He startled me half to death coming around the bend. My own drive and me seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought not be any faces. Jesper quickly contemplated running. Man was much older and his dress was suitable and courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries. Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was change that Jesper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish. And it melt away when presented with the berry basket. Any suspicion that the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of members of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed Farcical? Softened expression even made allowances for a smile. Berries, eh? So you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy. Jasper took his clue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. I know, and what luck I found them. I have only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number. Driver bent down for a close look, and where's your home, boy? It must be quite far away. Jesper replied with a scripted response. A little south of Tanner Fork. Oh my god, I've seen. This is. Oh. It's the first connection I've made. A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt wood. My god, that is far. You couldn't have come all the way only this morning. It was true. Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled. And while that response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Black Bridge Canyon, you could see why it might seem less believable here. Sorry, I've traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a prize such as these. Surely you have tasted them for yourself. Jesper felt happier with this response as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I've never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here in our carriage. So I'm ashamed I've never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward. It was Jesper's time to smile. Then let my efforts reward us both today. He raised the basket even higher. A taste and memory of your youth. So driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. At this and at the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes. And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth. Driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause, though I will admit the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me. Unable to find a purse, the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search. Yeah, reading this story, I forgot to look at things. My indignity. Let's see if there's other, italicized words. I don't see any dignity in my for some reason. Anyways. Why have you no purse upon your person? The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife's edge a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did and turned softly. There's a lockbox in the carriage. Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands. Concession, I assure you of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat. The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Quite the book. Excusing his inexperienced, the man indulged us for a while. He figured out how to adequately bind him. Smile and kindness Jesper had seen on this man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold dark eyes displaying no emotion. I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me? Jesper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. One hand on the door handle, he turned back to the man. If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Outside, the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept. A stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facet of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a livery servant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested upon the carriage's back seat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides. The box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by the Aridian hand. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. What the heck? Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and could not open easily without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing from his indentured position. Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box? Without emotion, the driver replied, there is no key to that box. Jesper stood up. Easy enough then. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. There was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force. It wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised how heavy it seemed, given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. Driver smiled and once again returned. You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed. Flickered the FG where the man shoved it in front of his face. What is it? That's one. Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jesper tightened the grip on the effigy. One what, you mumbling agentor, and in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person? The man did not seem intimidated. 1 pace. He paused for effect. 12 more and you'll be dead. Then he had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jesper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and have never doubted their validity in the past, but now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. If he was cursed, what's the difference? What difference would the knowledge make? Dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy if he did not move from where he now stood. He could live maybe another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do to be discovered here? Start. Why did I start a game of this? Discovered here beside a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries, and raving about a curse that could very well not be real. No, it would make certainly be better to face one's fate now. Take a dozen paces and see if life goes on. But Jesper found his legs unable to make the first step. His mind was unable to convince his limbs to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked around for a solution. Looked about him for a solution. And if by some stroke of luck the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him as if he found suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him. The answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short number of paces back to the road. 4. Perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. Thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task too great to chance. And so, after a profound breath, he took his second, third, and fourth step, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made for the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox, whose typical function of secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jesper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go. If it's cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? With that statement said aloud to the horses, seemingly Jesper took up the reins with confidence. Oh my god. Below the Black Bridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to waken her in such an ill-mannered fashion. I gotta look how long this is. Have to do this now. I'm not gonna read it right now. This bucket's crazy long. God. Twenty. Okay. Go below. Go below. Do go. Do anything. You're on a book. Anything they do. Anything they do below. Go. Might. Tour. Deadly. Okay. Of course, it was a freaking library. Nope. Oh, it's a fast day, huh? Well, the archive room sucks. Remain where you are for now. The Red Guard is to depart with agreement or plan and disable. Let's open this again. Is 1:40. 3 o'clock. Three o'clock. Day 34. Day 34. 24 4 more days. Fuck. God damn it. Alright, let's set it to 4. I'll go back over here. Oh. Black Bridge. Hmm. Hmm. that symbol again. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. sands of the shore. Westward leaning. Black banners over India. Rida Eru. Hmm. Capital from excluded amount of Runnington to the public stage of walls. On with it the realm. Learson. Hmm. Archive. Okay. Let's open this. Oh, I guessed the wrong date, didn't I? Sure. Day 34. Sixteenth. So 7, 2 weeks, 3 weeks and 3 days. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it was a 10th. God damn it. It does get darker out here. Oh, I gotta do 7 o'clock? God damn it. All right. Back. so let's open the safe. Really not time yet. Oh, it's just getting the... I set to 6 or 7. Takes forever. Set it to 7. Oh, I'm coming, Scotty girl. Watch this. Pretty cool. Dude, there's always so much stuff about 8. Route 8. Notebook. Praxis. Hey, 27. Dead cases. Those names I can't see. Rook. Ever room with the white rook? Oh, the vault. Let's see if there's any white rook. Oh, yeah, the nook. The nook in the vault. Try this again. Okay, I did that for nothing. I did not screenshot this. Shelter. to the east. Seven. Okay, well, let's just call it there. Right, I blocked it off. I don't have the elevator. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I got to bed.